Hi, my name is Justin Loria, and today I'm going to show you how to ride a skateboard, except this time we're going to go backwards. Riding backwards is referred to as riding in Fakie Stance, and it's important that you learn how to maneuver in this stance as well as the other three main stances: normal, nollie, and switch. In Fakie Stance, you'll be standing on the board the same way that you would in your normal stance, but you'll be moving the other way. So if you're pumping back and forth on a half pipe, you'll constantly be switching between your normal stance and Fakie Stance. Getting into Fakie Stance on flat ground is going to be a little different than you're used to, since you're going to be leading with what you normally think of as your back foot. The easiest way to do it, in my opinion, is to place your usual back foot on the front of the board, just on top of the front wheels, and push off the ground with your other foot. Then, as you place your other foot on the back of the board, carefully pick up your leading foot and place it in front of the front wheels and turn your head to look forward in the direction of travel. I do not recommend placing your usual front foot on the back of the board and pushing like this to get into Fakie Stance. Remember, this is the same thing as pushing Mongo, and not only does it look bad, it'll make things more challenging for you when you start to do more advanced maneuvers. Now that you're rolling, you can steer just like in your normal stance by leaning either on your toes or on your heels. You can actually do most of the tricks that you learned in normal stance in Fakie Stance. You won't, however, be able to make quick turns by pivoting on your wheels, because you can only pick up your trailing set of wheels when you're riding Fakie. If you want to quickly get from Fakie Stance back into normal stance, an easy way is to rotate your shoulders to face forward, then, just as if you were going to do a manual, lift up your trailing set of wheels and pivot them around to the front. If you need to come to a complete stop, the most reliable way is just to step off the board completely. When you do this, take your leading foot off the board first so that all four wheels stay on the ground. Make sure to practice this technique a few times before you need it so that when the time comes, your feet will already know what to do and you won't get hurt. Now it's time to learn the Fakie Ollie. If you haven't already, take the time to go back and learn how to do the stationary ollie and the moving ollie in normal stance. Once you're ready to try the ollie in Fakie Stance, you can ease your way into it like this. Start with a good stationary ollie, and then push off very lightly so that you start rolling Fakie but very slowly, and try to ollie again. As you continue, increase your rolling speed once you feel comfortable with your ollies at the current speed. You'll notice that as you increase your rolling speed, it can become more and more difficult to keep the board underneath you after you pop your ollie. One of the reasons behind this is that in order to do an ollie properly, you have to slide one of your feet along the grip tape to help lift the board into the air and level it out. In the case of the Fakie Ollie, the direction you'll be sliding your foot is away from the direction you're moving, which is going to push the board slightly backwards with respect to the direction you're traveling. So in order to keep the board from landing too far back, it's important that you give the board a little nudge the other way as you pop the ollie so that it travels out in front of you, and then let your sliding foot bring it back underneath you. This technique is subtle, but with a little practice, you'll most likely be able to do it without having to consciously think about it too much. One detail I've been glossing over that you'll want to keep in mind is that when you do tricks in Fakie Stance, this part of the board is still referred to as the tail. So even though that part of the board is in the front with respect to the direction you're moving, you still name all the tricks the same as their normal stance counterparts. So this would be a Fakie tail stall, not a Fakie nose stall. And this would be a Fakie 5-0 grind, not a Fakie nose grind or a Fakie crooked grind. If you still have any uncertainties, as usual, you should voice them in the comments section below. Be sure to hit that subscribe button in order to keep the tutorials coming. And as always, remember to have fun.